college was probably keeping in touch with my friends from high school. I came from a really big high school and I had a lot of friends in high school, so I really wanted to make sure I kept those relationships alive. And
So coming into the University of Minnesota, everyone has their own transitioning story, but I knew that mine was going to be especially unique because I was going to be commuting to campus. And to say the least, I was a little concerned that I wouldn't feel as connected to the university compared to other students who, say, lived on campus.
My biggest concern when I came to college was not making friends. I was not from here. I'm an out-of-state student, and I didn't know anybody from high school or my hometown or anything that was coming here. So I was really afraid that I was not going to make any friends in any of my classes, in my residence hall, in like groups or whatever. I was afraid I was going to be kind of a loner.
My biggest concern coming here to the University of Minnesota was really just getting around campus. My high school had about 3 hallways in it, so it was really, really tiny. And then I come to this big place where it has 3 campuses to it, as well as tons of buildings. So I wasn't exactly sure how to get around and things like that. But
my biggest concern when I come here is my language barrier because of my accent, and I'm not so comfortable to use English to talk to people. Then I was worried about meet new people and talk to them.
My biggest concern when I came to college was definitely doing well in my classes. In high school I took honors classes, and so I thought it kind of would prepare me for college, but I'd never taken a college course before, so of course I thought that might be different.
I often second-guessed myself my first year. I second-guessed myself on the major I was choosing, the career path I wanted, and consequently, I changed my major a couple of times, and I was never really quite sure what I wanted to do, which is fine. But had I not second-guessed myself so much, I would have probably decided on a major sooner. And had I trusted myself that I was making a good decision, I would have ended up in the place that I am now a little bit sooner. But I'm glad to be here nonetheless.
well, I made a lot of mistakes my freshman year, but one academic mistake I did commit was I went to the wrong calc class for the first 2 weeks of school, which, you know, is kind of a big deal, I guess, and I found out only because the people that were in my discussion section were not coming to the same lecture as I was. But it ended up turning out pretty good because the new professor was much better than the old professor. But I guess just in general, it was kind of a stupid thing to do, and it kind of ruined my confidence for the first couple months.
one big mistake that I made my first year was I didn't really study that hard for my first midterm. I'm like, oh, this is just like high school, right? Like I can just walk in and take the test, and you know, because I went to all my classes, so I thought things would be okay. But then things were not okay, and I didn't do so well in that first midterm. But the second one, when the second one came around, I studied really hard and prepared a few nights before, just went over some things and did really well in that second midterm, so recovered.
So because my main concern when coming into college was meeting new people, the biggest mistake I probably made my first year in college was trying too hard to make friends. I just really wanted to meet everyone and really wanted to make friends with everyone. That's why often I fit into other people's mold, and I wasn't truly myself, and I really regret that. That was a big mistake, and I wish that I would have acted more in accordance to my own beliefs than went along with the crowd.
The biggest mistake I made was I was heading to the West Bank, but I got on the bus on the wrong side of Kaufman and I went to St. Paul. So that took me 15 minutes, and then I had to come 15 minutes back, so I was like 45 minutes late to my class. So make sure you get on the bus in the right direction.
A mistake I made my freshman year was probably socializing a little too much when I got here to university. When I got here, especially the first couple weeks, I definitely wanted to meet new people, and so I was always kind of out with other people, and I didn't spend as much time on my academics. So of course when midterms kind of came around, I wasn't really at the level that I wanted to be. And so
College, something that really helped me succeed are the study habits that I developed throughout high school and then applied to college. Some of those were working on things on time and not leaving things until the very last minute, and I also was really careful about keeping track of what was on the syllabus and what needed to be done and when it needed to be done, and I didn't allow myself to get behind in like readings and assignments and things like that.
One of the best things to do is behave on the weekends and also go to the library. The library is like an untapped resource that anybody can use to see like pretty girls who are really smart and work hard.
One thing that helped me succeed my first year here at the university was getting engaged on campus, such as joining student groups and taking leadership positions and getting to meet people outside of my residence hall.
First of all, just use the Gopher Guide and schedule everything. Like when I was working, I'd put that in there. When my classes, homework, everything was in my Gopher Guide. And so I would just go from there, use that for everything, and yeah, life went well from there.
One of the things that I did well my freshman year was definitely probably volunteering, definitely in the outside community. I was able to meet other students from around the metro area and kind of see kind of their walk of life and different things like that.
I get a lot of help from my advisor. The information she gives me is very helpful regarding to like academic classes and even later on the transferring to Carson.
I went to my professor's office hours, and that really helped me because I got to know my professor got to know me, and then I wasn't as nervous asking questions in class, and it really helped make the class a better experience.
So something I wish someone had told me coming into the University of Minnesota. Here's a little story. So I was on the bus headed to Kaufman from St. Paul, and I hopped on this express bus. I was really excited because I like express buses. Was headed to Kaufman, pulled the string, I was ready to go. And for some reason, the bus driver drove right by the Kaufman bus stop. Needless to say, I screamed. I was like, what? But thankfully he stopped at the West Bank bus stops, and I managed to walk myself over to Kaufman. So the moral of the story is that express buses, campus connectors, do not stop at Kaufman. Warning.
Something that somebody would have recommended to me freshman year would have been definitely to use study groups. It really helps to have even one other person working on problems with you through class.
One thing I wish someone would have told me about my first year is that college isn't just about academics. I came here thinking that as long as I had a great GPA, I would get that great job and be able to move on from there. And I had no idea that college is actually a lot more than academics. It's about being involved, meeting new people, and making a difference outside of the classroom. But also academics are a part of it, but it's also trying to do things outside of the classroom that help you develop as a person as well.
I wish that someone would have prepared me for the independent schedule that we lead here at the U. In high school, it was like class, 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 lunch, class, class, class. But you know, there's no time in your schedule built for lunch. So I wish that someone had helped me think about how to tackle things that come in with no notice.
It's okay to make mistakes. You're bound to make mistakes, but the important thing is to learn from them and to grow from them.
Wash your underwear.
Challenge yourself to do things that you've never done before. There are lots of opportunities to do all kinds of things here on campus and in the Twin Cities area, so really take advantage of all of those opportunities.
Is to take classes or do things that you might not necessarily identify with immediately. For instance, if you're an accounting major, go ahead, feel free to take a music class, take a FIA class, something like that. Do something different that really expands yourself.
Take a risk and meet new people that may be different than yourself.
Go to your class every day.
Don't wait until your senior year to get an internship or mentorships.
Definitely just try to communicate well with your roommate. If there's anything that they do to bother you, address it early and don't let it just, sink in and get deeper and deeper, and then eventually it might explode/implode.
Your college experience won't make itself. It's up to you to make it.
Make good choices.